Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar on the fresh market. I'm very excited about this one. I actually used to live in Miami, which is a big city for the fresh market. I would go into the store, I'm like desperate. How do I get on shelf here? How do I get in these stores? It seemed like the reviews were a little unpredictable, and there are all these options you would pick when you were applying there. And, I'll be honest, I never managed to get my product into their stores as much as I desperately wanted to, probably because I never got this incredible overview that you all are about to get. The fresh market is a big retailer. They're a tastemaker retailer for higher end stuff in the Southeast. It's just absolutely one of the ideal destinations for early stage brands. I never had a ton of luck meeting their team and talking to them about stuff like just select occasions. So I'm really grateful to the Cultivate team for bringing us all of this incredible info that we're going to go through today. So let me pass it over to you to do a little kickoff, and then I'll be jumping in with a bunch of questions. And if you guys have questions throughout,
Sure.
you can throw them in the chat, you can throw in the Q&A, but we'll surf it. There are like over 100 people on this, so we may not get to all of them.
For sure. Okay. So, and the first screen, I just want to make sure we're following along, is Cultivate Finding Success, right? You guys are good?
That's it. Yep.
Sweet, sweet. Okay. So this will be high level, but like you said, we're going to answer all the questions that we can. Intros, who is Cultivate? How do we work well with the fresh market? Giving you some overview of the fresh market, cost of doing business, what it's like doing business with them, and like you just said, Daniel, how to work with the team, how to get in contact with them, and then any Q&As and key takeaways. So me, a little bit about myself, 10 years plus in this type of capacity, sales accounts. Worked in startups, worked with big brokerage boutiques all across the board, even in food service and numerous various roles. So when it comes to working in this capacity and helping brands succeed at the fresh market, that's kind of my thing. As you can see, the accounts that I have here, but the main one we're going to be focusing on fresh market. And in the fresh market, we're going to get into this, but the biggest thing there for them is perimeter of the store. And that's kind of where some of my expertise comes in at to help a lot of these brands navigate that. Cultivate, if you all haven't heard of us or haven't worked with us before, our bread and butter, startup and emerging brands. You see a few of them below here. Some we've helped grow, some that came to us with little to no sales, some of us that came with just a vision. So our thing is to help you succeed, navigate hand in hand, robust team, take you through distributors. It can be a little tedious working with some distributors, as we know. So our team is pretty much specialized in that, specialized in all types of retailers. Me personally, your boy, Jamele, that's what we're talking about right now, the fresh market. So we're going to do that. And then really quick overview of the retailer, the main attraction. When you walk in, like you said, they're a premier retailer. So some call them natural specialty. That's kind of what they have their focus on. I just think they're one of the premier retailers in the Southeast, period. As I don't know if everyone else seen it. I'm going to assume you did, but US Today just named them the best grocery or grocer America. Huge. Hand claps for that. Their bread and butter is the perimeter. So if you're talking deli, bakery, meat, counters, and grocery provides and plays a role into that, but you're going to understand why. So when you're walking into the fresh market, I mean, literally from where I'm at, I'm here in Charlotte. I have one of the biggest formats. So when I walk into the stores, to my right, immediately I see floral, I see produce. I'm panning around, I see bakery, delis in the middle. I'm seeing the fresh prepared foods right in front of me. I'm seeing them cut the meats. I'm back there getting the fresh cuts. I mean, because I shop there. And as I continue around, I'm in the produce and I'm getting my fresh drinks, my dairy, everything that I need. And then on the end, telling it, I'm going to see some of my non-alcs or alcs, depending on how you're feeling. You can grab some of those and then bulks, and then everything else falls in there. So the store, the retailer itself, 170 plus doors across the US. As you said, Daniel, in Florida, they have a really strong, great stronghold. Though they're based in Greensboro, we have stores across North Carolina, but again, Florida is where they kind of kill it. Demographics, you guys can read it. I don't want to bore you reading you from a slide, but you can see kind of where their demographic is, affluent. And the cool thing about them even having an affluent customer base, they're not really, I would say, priced out of competition, right? So you don't come in and see brands that are wanting to be SRP at $6.99 and at $9.99. They're really a great partner with you. So if you're having an ideal SRP, they're going to try their best to help you make that and meet that. Have you
89% married. In Miami, we single people had to go to Pura Vida to try to make friends there. Go a
been
little
free?
more
Okay.
social. Yeah.
And then a lot of people compare them to Whole Foods, Sprouts, but when we're looking at in the market and who they look to, they're looking at the Harris Teeters, they're looking at Publix, they're looking at Whole Foods, and even Sprouts, who was left off. But and then also, man, you can see what the stores look like.
How would you compare them? Just let's say from a consumer perspective to what it feels like to be in some of these stores.
So, like, for lack of better words, the fresh market feels like home. You walk in, it feels familiar. It doesn't feel overwhelming. The stores aren't huge, but they have enough space and capacity where you can navigate. Where some other stores or other retailers that play in that market, you can kind of get lost. And some of their consumers kind of give you, hey, get out of my way. I've been here before. The fresh market, like I said, feels like a family. Everyone was like, hey, where are you looking for? You can find it over here. So, and then the free coffee also, not free, but the free sampling. Coffee's $1.99. It's too easy. Then I
Okay. And
would
then
go
versus
to
like a Publix, obviously superstore, probably the highest volume selling regional grocer in the country. And just, big stores, big volume. Maybe you don't see
yeah.
quite as many early brands in a
Yeah,
place like a Publix. Harris Teeter, full service, going to have a little bit higher prices on products, but also it's full service from the distributor, which means they take care of a lot of stuff. But the Whole Foods volume in the southeast of the country does pretty well too. I know Florida is a pretty good one for
yeah,
them too.
and I've even seen where Whole Foods has started expanding and doing extremely well in the Northeast. So they are kind of battling with the fresh market, from my knowledge, in the South, just because of that stronghold. I wouldn't have anything to add to this because literally you said what I was thinking. So
Cool. And Fresh Market also known for having a lot of marketing options,
do that.
creative displays. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting to that.
All right.
So I love the fact we're pretty much aligned here. So just for anyone who wants to know, how do I get in the fresh market? What's the cost of business? What is it like? So they've gone from, since I've been working with them, we had a full calendar review. Since it has changed, so now you'll see a monthly release, but for quarterly reviews. So they just released their last review schedule Friday, but for October and November. And then, as we all know, December slows down pretty much, but pay attention to the dates. This is how, again, how you work with them is important. So if we're looking at the dates, they're like, hey, here are the dates for October. Please only reach out about October and only October. You will have brokers or brands sometimes, hey, what about this review in November? What about this timing? And if you're looking at it from their point of view, bro, like that could be overwhelming if I'm trying to decipher through all of these. So yeah, that makes their job easier, makes them pay attention to you more. They don't ask for much, at least in my opinion, as I've seen some other retailers do. So one case free fill per SKU per store just to get on the shelves. And they work with, as you mentioned, UNFI, Chex. But again, this slide is hitting on everything we just talked about, innovation. But make sure you have a good brand story. I can't emphasize that enough. Like, we need to know why and what the brand is and what makes it tick, what's the heartbeat behind it. And they love that stuff, man. From what I've seen in any of these meetings, that gets you far. And then, as you said, a good promotional plan. They have ideas, displays, you mentioned, marketing opportunities are robust. They will work with you, as I've seen with all brands. If you bring them an idea and we're trying to figure it out together, that's the retailer you want to work with.
Just in terms of their team, because I never successfully got a product. And my perception was their team was a little like safeguarded. Like they're
Yeah.
not the ones necessarily running up to you at this show. I think they also were bought by private equity at some point. I don't know if that
Yeah,
complicates things for them.
about a year or two ago they were.
Okay. And
Which
then their reviews can also be a little bit unpredictable, at least in the past. Maybe they're catching up now, but I remember there was a time when it was sort of like a lot of them were getting delayed and hadn't been revisited. I remember looking
I
at the
think that
beverage set
transition is
there.
happening.
Yeah, I remember looking at the beverage set for a while and I was like, I think they forgot a couple of cycles here. Like some of this, they don't, yeah. So maybe does it feel like they're caught up here? And I saw Jeff put a question in the chat asking how can you actually get the review dates?
Yeah, so they have what's called, for everyone, this is a peek behind the blinds. And I have to look at the email again just to make sure I'm giving you the correct one. But I want to say the grocery vendor at thefreshmarket.net. Just email them and ask to be put on their mailing list, and they will send out those reviews so you can keep up. And again, I'll double check to make sure you have that correct, Daniel, so we can get everyone the correct information. But I want to say that's pretty much correct, and they will pretty much blast it out. So that's how I got on the list. That's how I know others get on the list.
Email.
Yeah, the grocery vendor.
Got it.
Uh, so yeah,
Grocery vendors at
at
thefreshmarket.net.
freshmarket.net. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Um,
And then I'm also putting a link because I know they also take submissions through RangeMe, I think. Anyway, I'll put the link for that also because that's from our retail sales tracker. If you guys don't know about that, you definitely should look at it because it has that info for every single retailer out there.
but you mentioned their team. Man, I've seen some of their team come, some go. I mean, as we all do in this industry, but no, their team is probably one of the best teams I love working with. And this is one of my favorite, this is my favorite retailer to work with just because of their team. The team is personable, super sweet, super kind, and they're authentic. So yeah, they may not run up to you at the shows, but if you have a relationship with them, they are not adverse to saying hi. Me, I'm a hugger for some people, and hey, I get my hugs, and that's me personally, but they're awesome. I can't say enough great things about them. If you had a chance to work with them, if you haven't, then I hope you get to.
All right. That's good info. And so at our Asheville grocery run on this Thursday, I'll be expecting a hug. Asheville grocery run this Thursday.
So this just kind of gives a visual to what we were speaking to, some of the creative displays that they have. So you have some set up in the deli. We had a brand we were working with previously. We had them running numbers deli case. So you have the pasta, sauces, little big meals is something that is huge at fresh markets. Everyone likes convenience. Little big meals is you come in and if your brand fits that category, they take and build out a plan for you. For 25 bucks, you can have pasta, your pasta sauces, any of the other ingredients making a meal that night. So you don't have to figure it out. They've done it for you. Makes life super simple. BOGOs, I can't stress that enough. So this is not like Publix where you have to do BOGOs and it's required, but the BOGOs do bring a significant return. Also, their BOGOs are only 3 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you imagine a BOGO for 3 days and you have a significant return versus being on BOGO for a week, 2 weeks. It doesn't blow your trade spend out of the water, right? It's pretty safe, but it's also a good return. TPRs are pretty stable, so you can do a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. Typically, we promote for the month. We also participate in the BOGOs. And then sampling. You can do sampling if that's something that your heart desires. We just talked about Plentiful Harvest, some of my brands for the fresh market. If you want to go yourself as a brand or supplier, that's also allowed. Definitely take advantage of those. They're going to work with you, but do not be afraid to get your brand out there and promote and support.
Couple of questions coming in from the last slide. For brands that have higher prices, especially like 20 bucks SRP, have you had success negotiating that free fill down to 1 unit a store?
Oh, so yeah, one case per SKU per store. That's typically just a general ask. There are various things. So if you have certain certifications, women-owned, minority-owned, etc., there can be some exceptions. But I would say that's a typical ask. And I've seen other retailers that I work with will have higher asks. So 2 cases free fill, or instead of a case, they're asking for a dollar amount. You're looking at $5,000, $11,000 per SKU. So I would think this would probably be one of the more feasible from a retailer.
And in your experience, when you're going through that process, is that something people are trying to negotiate as they're submitting, or is it once they get accepted and then there's a little bit of back and forth around it? Like, well, could you do this?
Both. So in my role and position is both. So we'll discuss it. They'll say, hey, this is what we want to submit. I give them my feedback and suggestions. And then when we get into the meeting, because there's nothing like real time conversation, and you can, discuss it there and see how the chips fall. And I'm always a fan of, I don't know if anybody else plays sports, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So take the shot. Let's figure it out together. The worst thing they can say is no. So in my experience, it has worked out.
All right. One more question from Michael. Michael asked, do they offer direct billing scan deals?
Yes. So you do not have to always go through your distributor. You can definitely do a direct scan.
Also known as a manufacturer chargeback. So just so everyone knows, just to explain that for anyone, you can do these OI periods, off invoice periods to the distributors, 4 times a year for 4 weeks or something, you can do a 15% off. And then
Mhm.
you also have to call the retailer and be like that. Yeah. So we'll plan a promotion during that time so that it actually gets reflected to consumers. That would be a manufacturer chargeback. In addition, I'm going to give you another 5% or 10% or cents per product to make sure it actually happens at the retailer, or they might forego some of those OIs, or they're going direct and they're just saying, hey, I'm going to give you a 20% direct scan. Some of the benefits of it is that when you do a direct scan, I think the pricing is a little bit more favorable.
You're paying for purchase product. What goes through the register is exactly what you pay for. If I
Right.
sold 100 units, I'll pay for 100 units.
Right. Whereas off invoice, it's everything you ship to the distributor, no matter where it
Correct.
goes, whether a discount
Correct.
actually happens to the consumer.
Is it
Great
more
point.
favorable for brands for sure?
And then somebody else asked about payment terms for the retailer, which if you're going direct, maybe you would worry about that, but typically it would be through the distributor in most cases, right?
Correct. Yep.
So whatever your payment terms are with your distributor, probably, which I think it's like 90 days a lot of the time, or maybe there's a net
It is. I don't know. I don't
deal.
want to misspeak on the
I
distributor
don't really know.
portion.
Maybe somebody else probably knows here.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Great. Is there any of, if you're talking to a brand and they're like, yeah, we got some money to support this account, what's your like number one thing to do? Is it one of those displays, or is it like, no, put it in demo, or no, let's go real hard on TPRs? Where would you really place your biggest bets?
Is based on your category that you're playing in. But if I'm just, generalizing it, I would definitely say BOGOs.
BOGOs.
Yeah, BOGOs here. Again, 3-day BOGOs. And I've seen the return on those. And so a brand that we previously worked with, I mean, they were just getting started and we threw out BOGOs throughout the year. And once they saw the return, they were like, how can we do more of these? We need these. And I was like, enough BOGOs to go around. We can do this. But
Their CFOs everywhere are crying. Okay. Siobhan said she thinks it's 45 days and they're great to work with direct. So that's cool. How many BOGOs per year would you recommend? Is another one.
great question. It depends on our trade spend. But if it's just open-ended, I mean, if we can do at least 4 to 5, again, because they're 3 days. So we can do 4 to 5, and then we'll sprinkle other promotions in there. Because again, for me, my strategy personally is not to oversaturate one thing. So yeah, we're seeing great lifts off this, but we don't want to train the consumer to only buy us on BOGOs.
Yeah, that's what happens if you nuts on
Yeah.
BOGOs. People are like, well, they'll be on sale sooner or later.
I'll just
You're
wait.
just
Yeah.
subsidizing every single purchase. Okay, that's great. Okay, cool. Sorry, I interrupted your flow here.
No, man, no. I love this. I love this back and forth. Being authentic, it's how you work with the team. The mission, the brand story. I mentioned that previously, but I cannot reiterate that enough. I would like to think everyone knows when someone's being authentic with them. So if you aren't in it for the right reasons, it comes across your broker, the selling partners, the CM for sure. So definitely be yourself, be authentic, pay attention to the announcements, timely submissions. Again, I said they work with you, but you want to make their lives easier so you look favorable and it makes everyone else's life easier. So try to meet those deadlines.
Somebody was asking if I don't want to go through a distributor, is Range Me the only option to get in, or is there any other way to like sell directly? Somebody else responded that Fresh Market only does reviews through Range Me. I don't know if that's true or not, but just so everyone knows, also, you don't have to, I think, pay for the subscription to be able to submit one thing to a specific retailer. You can just go through that link that we posted to submit your product there.
And that's where I would do a plug for Cultivate. That's where you would partner with someone like Cultivate, and we would help you with those submissions, finding the time frames, finding all of the things. You don't have to go through RangeMe only. You can submit to the retailer directly. That's the cool thing. They're one of the few retailers that you can submit directly, talk to directly, meet with directly.
Somebody else said they just got a response from their buyer directly, so maybe not always. Speaking of the Cultivate team, I just wanted to put their contact info in here. You can probably hit up Jamele on LinkedIn, and I also just put Aaron, who is the founder and CEO. His email is aaron@cultivatecpg.com. You can also just text him, which is cool.
Such a cool
And
guy.
yeah, and Cultivate, as you guys heard, they work with brands nationally. A lot of early stage brands in our community, even. So definitely feel free to reach out to them for some more of that good info. Somebody else asked, they said they stopped working with the fresh market in 2019 because of back end operations being really slow, like invoices not really getting paid so fast. Do you think things got better since then?
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't had any of our brands mention that. And again, that was in 2019, so we're here now in 2025, and I think they were purchased or acquired, as we were saying, by PE in 22, 23. So things have gotten better, I would assume, at least again on our side. I haven't heard anything. So
Okay, cool. All right, let's keep it rolling.
yeah, by now I probably already read the slide, but if you haven't, just again, I mean, I'll just reiterate it. Consistent communication, try not to overwhelm, but also, ride the line between pest and follow up because everyone does a million things every day. So there are a million of us, one of them. So try to find a way to stand out. And then if you're working with distributors, just know UNFI is a great support partner. You'll be working with the CM directly. And if you're working with Chex, they have additional resources there. They have a key account manager that's going to help you with your promotions if you need some help with that. And we work well with them as well. So shout out to UNFI and Chex. And then just again, be personable, work with your CMs. And then once you gain placement, do not be afraid to promote. That's the last thing I'm gonna leave. Do not be afraid to promote and support. That's how you stay on the shelves. Can't just get there and then say, all right, I guess my job's done. No, man.
You'll find yourself in one of those ad drop emails that comes out,
Literally,
which are
man. Here
so
today.
cold. The coldest part of those emails is they send them to everybody who submits with the ad and the drops, and you're on it and everyone else is on it. Brands in your category, they see that you didn't make it and they like who got dropped and they got added. You're just like, oh, this
Great.
is
And
it's
then the
rough.
theme music for you becomes another one bites the dust. That sucks, right?
Yeah.
God.
Oh
Oh
man.
man. But okay, so and then key takeaways. I mean, you guys have heard me say this over and over. So again, be yourselves, be consistent, communicate, innovation, brand story, so impactful, and then give responses time. As you were saying, Daniel, like things have gotten delayed, things have moved around. So just be patient, give grace. I mean, we all need some. And then make sure you partner with the right people who understand the fresh market and how it operates.
Yes, which we have just seen. And I'll just mention one more time if you want to reach out to the Cultivate team, I just dropped their email in here, Aaron at cultivatecpg.com. And guys, if you have more questions, keep them coming because we have plenty of time. So if you have some specific ones, feel free to drop them in the Q&A. One that just came in from Michael, can they anchor and open up a UNFI DC or do they want you to already be slotted in the DC?
Love this question. One of the reasons I love Fresh Market, they will anchor Unified DCs. There was York, so it's now moved to Manchester, Richburg, and Greenwood are the three DCs. Oh, and Sarasota. I cannot forget Sarasota. So they're going to be the DCs that you're going to be utilizing, and they will anchor those DCs.
Okay. That is good news. They have a lot of stores. They can anchor.
Mhm.
One thing I kind of remember is when I actually went through the submissions with them, maybe going through UNFI, is just that, I don't know, based off the margins, based off the pricing, it seemed like the price was getting a little bit higher on shelf than we were typically hoping in the region. And then I think the decision then was to us about whether we were going to fund an EDLP, just like a everyday scan to get the price down a little bit. Do you see that decision coming up a lot for brands based off just, distributor fees plus their margins?
Yeah, but after the purchase, things have seemed so right now. I actually have one of my brands on. So we would submit and say, hey, this is the SRP we're targeting. And we were able to hit that even with the markups, even with their margins. I call them a partner for a reason. I won't say they always compress margins or that's their thing, but I will say that they're more apt to working with you as long as it fits their business and makes them profitable as well as you. I haven't seen a lot of brands have to go or fund down an EDLC.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Ron asked, does Cultivate work with a brand only on the fresh market? I think you guys work with, like, you're a national broker. You work with people all over the country, not just one specific retailer, but is that right?
Correct. Yeah. So shout out to George Danes on our team. He covers Whole Foods, Aaron Barnhalt, and then we just have Alana who's on our team now. They are partnering on Sprouts. So I mean, everyone covers any retailer in the nation that you would like and love to be in. So we're definitely willing to help you do that.
It's a team that knows these retailers well.
Yeah.
George, who was at Whole Foods previously, did a killer webinar with us on how to win at Whole Foods, one of the best attended ones we've ever had about Sprouts. We will be doing a Sprouts grocery run, and it's going to happen in November. We will be announcing it probably in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. So that's going to be a very fun one. Stay tuned for that because it's going to be in Phoenix. So good timing to go and get some of that nice Arizona weather just a week or so before Thanksgiving. So everybody stay tuned in our Slack and email for that one because it's going to be rad. And I also love Josh as well from the team over there because Josh was like the guy who actually finally could explain Wegmans to me and how to actually try to get in touch with their team. They're like, have you heard of this guy at UNFI, Josh? And that was when he was still at UNFI. It was amazing.
Couldn't do, man. I love our team completely, wholeheartedly.
Okay. And then somebody asked, does Cultivate require a retainer or do you work on commission? As far as I know, it's mainly just retainer, like most
Yeah,
national brokers.
and commission based on sales. Something
Okay.
we can discuss.
Cool. Any questions like that, guys? I mean, this is a national broker. This is not like a $500 a month broker. They have people with very big skill sets who know these accounts very well. So if you're at the point where you're ready for this kind of a high touch, I would say, national broker, heavy expertise in natural and conventional and that stuff, then it could be good to reach out to them. Not really ready for that retainer and all the money to support the accounts that they're going to get you. Might not be the time yet. But I'm just putting Aaron's email and Jamele's email obviously is on the screen, as you can see. Let me just check the Q&A. So, here's a good one. Jamele, do you recommend working with Chex that they work with, the specialty distributor Chex that they work with?
Yeah, don't recommend. Yeah. I mean, I have a brand that's working with Chex at the moment, and I have nothing bad to say about Chex. They are really communicative. They have a good team over there. So yeah, I would recommend Chex. I would definitely work with Chex.
The fresh market account is one of their big ones.
One of them, yeah. So they have, because they're based out of the Northeast. So they work,
Right.
I know King's Balducci's, Roach, and then the Fresh Market is another one of their big retailers. They work with some indies out of the Northeast as well. But yeah, Chex is good. I just want to
Okay.
be successful.
And then somebody asked if UNFI is the primary for refrigerated. Somebody said that email grocery vendors at thefreshmarket.net is just bouncing back saying
Okay.
to submit on RangeMe.
So what I would do is, let me stop sharing my screen and I will find you guys the email.
I think it's just when people are emailing it, it's just saying submit on RangeMe. Because I think that's the one that they're emailing from even. So
Okay.
it's good, just good to know. Not often that a company like that has a customer service manned inbox like that. Somebody in the chat said, Chex, just keep an eye on their free fills. They may give away product to less than desirable markets. It's probably always a good thing to watch out for. I think that's true with all the broadliners too. If you just check the box that they can give out free fills to anybody, then you end up with a bunch of what I would call tier C independents who are very happy to help themselves to a bunch of your free product and then not reorder. So always good to have some stuff like that. Kim was asking if you can apply to Fresh Market without a membership. I'm pretty sure you can. I would just go and click the link and check it out, but I'm pretty sure when a retailer says you have to submit on RangeMe, I'm pretty sure that you don't have to pay to do that.
And I have the correct email here, so apologies, everyone. So it's grocerywendors@thefreshmarket.net.
Nathan was actually dropping all of the category managers. You can go out and do bad stuff, and it's all going to be made up for by this one message that you sent today, Nathan. Thank you, Nathan. Okay, cool. So let me just check on any last questions. I think we got them all. What shows do their buyers attend? That's a good one. I have seen them personally at UNFI, Mohegan Sun, at Expo West, Fancy Foods, New York.
Those are the big ones that I know. I was just inquiring if anyone was going to the National Refrigerated and Frozen Convention. So right now, I don't have anyone confirmed for that, but the big ones that you just named, Fancy Foods, Expo West, Mohegan, yeah, they're going to be those.
And Nathan said IFPA, but I don't actually know what that is.
IFPA. I think it's International Floral and Produce Convention. Yeah, I haven't been there.
Oh, nice one. We're gonna have to bring you back when we do CPG trivia, Jamele. That would definitely be a 500 level box that you nailed. Okay, great. So, guys, I think we actually really got through most of the questions here. I think the one thing I would really also just suggest for people is if there's any way possible for you to get into one of the stores, especially when you're applying, I really encourage you to do it, particularly around those promos and displays. Like you can actually see what they feel like because they have all these options. When you're like, oh, you could buy this one display, but they're expensive displays. And, if you go and walk the store, then you can be like, yeah, can I have that? I know there's one by the checkout and it's this like little end cap by the checkout, or they'll put a cooler in for some hot beverage, or you could just see how the products, they're just little displays happening all over the stores, which I'm sure is an important revenue generator for them because you're going to have to pay for it, but also can probably get you a lot of volume. So, right, Jamel, get in the stores.
100%. 100%. I mean, you're nailing it. I mean, we should have got you to do this.
Can you flip through this thing real quick?
Oh,
Media kit.
yeah. Right
This
here.
is this was super interesting for me to read through a couple years ago when I went through all their options,
Perfect.
their media kit with all the different things that you could buy.
Yeah. So thank you. I was hoping you guys could see that.
Yeah.
So this is the deadlines for submission that we were talking about, right? And this is the 2025 one. So keep that in mind. And then I'll go to, I don't want to skim too much, I mean, because we can share this with you guys, but this is advertising opportunities. If we're trying to land on the e-commerce site
Mhm.
on the website,
I'm not a big digital ad spend guy.
neither am I, but you shouldn't say that out loud, right? I shouldn't say that.
Just me. I know, but I can say that. I'm typically like ad spend. All right, I don't know. I don't
But
know what that
here are some of
does.
the displays that we were talking about, and maybe you can kind of see them more up close. But yeah, so counter displays, register displays, floor displays, and I failed to mention earlier, so they have a clean floor policy. So if you have shippers or any displays of your own that you want to send, they will not accept those as they do their own displays.
One flat rate for all their stores.
Mhm.
So $4,400. And how long does that get you?
So it's typically 5 to 6 weeks. So you're on about a month and some change.
That's not bad compared to, I mean, compared to like, I don't know, an Air One where you would pay about that much for a display in 11 stores
See,
for a month.
I've heard that. So
Which I mean, different consumers, different value propositions there, but
yeah. And then these are the BOGOs that we were talking about, right? So I think someone asked you earlier about scans. And so, yeah. And this is why I say the ROI is so great on these because it's literally just a scan. It's 3 days. So you can actually see what you sold, how much you sold, and then that's your investment. So little big meals, I covered that earlier. This is literally going over everything that we talked about, but key right here. Like I spoke to earlier about pasta sauces. So anything that someone would take home to feed their family. So, and then sampling. Yep.
but you know what I mean? Like you get into the store, you can actually see what these displays look and feel like because only you really will know if it's the right place for your product in the store, right? And like what
Literally.
it should be near. Even if you think you're getting in or you're going to pick some of those options and you can't get into a store, I would hire a task rabbit to walk around the store with a video camera, like with their iPhone out, and just show you what a typical store in Charlotte or just, one of your target markets actually looks like. And I really recommend that just if you're applying to have a good understanding of what's in the set, because it may be very different from what you're expecting. Because they don't have tons of SKUs in the fresh market, at least to the ones that I've been in. Like it's not like a Safeway Albertsons where it's massive and
Yeah.
everything's in there.
I want to say thank you for bringing that up. So what I've seen over the years, Fresh Market used to go wide, right? So they used to have various brands, but what they've transitioned to now they go deep. So if you're in and you're selling, we'll expand with you. It's like the top sellers are going to stay. They're going to expand. So again, what I'm saying, have a compelling brand story, have a great promotional plan because once you're on, you're on. So it's game time because they're not expanding a lot. They're expanding into strong selling brands.
Okay, guys, I think we're gonna wrap here. Jamel, thank you. You obviously know this account in and out. And just someone saying that on Range Me, it's asking for membership. Honestly, I think there must be a way around that. They have a low premium membership that's like 99 bucks a year or something, but I'm pretty sure you can do it with free if you just click around a little bit. If you do sign up for Arrange Me, like the real deal premium one, just make sure you use our discount because you basically can get the same thing plus 3 in-person meetings with buyers if you use our sign up code, which I am going to paste right now, just so that you have it. And let me just drop that in here in the chat. Okay. So somebody else just wanted to ask again, the shows that the buyers attend. So we said Newtopia, Expo West will be the big one that they're at. The shows like Mohegan Sun, probably they're at the Southeast one also, but I haven't been there, so I can't really say if I've seen them there. And someone said IFPA. I just want to thank everybody for all the engagement here. Thank you to Jamele and the Cultivate team. And again, if you want to talk to them and you're ready for a national broker, I'm putting Aaron's email here, or Jamele's is Jamele at cultivatecpg.com. So thank you guys. The recording will be on our YouTube first. So if you definitely want to see it, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube there, and then you will also get the slides sent to you. You just go there and hit the subscribe button. All right. We did it, guys. I hope everybody gets into the fresh market and it's only products from people who attended this webinar. And I will see Jamele and a bunch of our friends at the Asheville Grocery Run, where we will have, I don't think the fresh market is coming. If anybody knows them and wants to invite them, we would love that. Earth Fair there, Whole Foods is coming, Rainforest is coming, the Infra team is coming, which I'm very excited about as well. So it is going to be a banger, and we're all really excited to just check out Asheville and support the community there. So thank you again, Cultivate. Thank you, Jamele. Thank you, everybody, for all the great questions, and we will see you guys on the Slack.
All right. Thanks, Vince. See you.
Bye, everyone.